Okay, good day everyone. Today we will learn about array, chapter 3, Java language 3.3 arrays. In this topic, you will learn about define array and relate with memory allocation. Explain accessing arrays, initialize, input, process and output. Construct programs that perform one-dimensional array operators for simple statistical functions, minimum, maximum, linear search, minimum, maximum, frequency, total and mean. And the last one is about linear search. There are three subsection in this topic, arrays. Okay, first, what is array actually? Array are used to store multiple values in a single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. To declare an array, define the variable types with square brackets. Before this, we already learned about variables, that when we declare a variable, for example, we want to declare total, a variable total, and we want to use the data type integer. So we declare as int total semicolon, means that total will be declared as a data type int. That means integer. But for arrays, you should declare a variable with square brackets. When you found a square brackets, it means that that one is an array. So for example, string square brackets cars means that cars are declared into a arrays and which are using string as data type. Okay, we have now declared a variable that holds an array of strings. To insert value into it, we can use an array literal. Place the values in a comma separated list inside the curly braces. For example, string cars. So we already have the brackets. So we write down cars. So what are inside this array? Means that there are four input in this array. The first one is Volvo, second one is BMW, third one is Ford, and the fourth one is Mazda. Okay, to create an array of integer, you should write down int bracket my num is an example of variable. So then we have equal and we have left braces 10, 20, 30, 40 and we have right braces and semicolon. So now we can compare with the string and int. String means you insert a text into a array. Meanwhile, int is a number, insert a number into a array. That's a difference between string and int. Okay. So before this, we learned one single variable can only store a single value. But for this case, when we use arrays, a single variable with the array can store multiple value inside it. Okay, next, introduction to arrays. Okay, for example, we can see what are the value for the appropriate arrays. If a age is a data types of numeric integer, so we can use 41, 37, 56 as example of the integer numbers. The second one is marks, it's a double floating point, so you use a decimal value for that. And the third one is grade, so we use CAB as a char or character, so with a single quotes. And the name as a string, which is use a double quote, Ibrahim, Mariam, Rahman and Rahim. For months, we also can use a double quote for that because this one is string. Okay, there are 5 different types of data types which use different value in the array. Okay. In Java, an array is an order index collection of data value of the same type. Means that if you want to insert a value same data type, you can use array. For example, I want to insert the marks for the students, so I will use decimal points. If a decimal points, I will use double to declare it. So the variables is marks and I want to declare as double. So then when you have the bracket inside that, it's become a array. So what are the value inside this array? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 value in this array separated by colon separate by commas. So we can see that the first value is 97.5 with the first index, and the second value is 41.8. We'll go for the next index until we found the last index is 67.5. Okay, the first value will enter the first index, means the first index must start with 0. So index 0 means the first house, means the first value. The last value should be the index 6. So means that 97.5 is the first value. So we call it as a index 0 until the last value is 67.5. So how many of the index there? There are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 index, 0 until 6. But total value of this array would be 7 because we have the 7 value inside there. So the total value for this array is, we have 7 values inside this array. Okay, an array consists of its data type, size, index and value. Okay, so each index will store a different value for the index. For example, index 0 will store 73 value, index 1 will store 1 as its value, index 2 will store 0 as its value, index 3 will store 4 as its value, index 4 will store 5 as its value, index 5 will store 3 as its value, and the last index will be 6 and it will store 2 as its index. And what are the name for this array? We can name any suitable name. If it is considered as a valid identifier, you can use as a array's name. So for this case, we use ARR as a array name. So there are how many? There are 7 value in this array, consists from 0, index 0 until index 6. Declaring arrays. To create an array, you have to declare a variable with an array type and create the array itself. So how to do that? To declare array, so we start with the array's name, age. Age is the array name. So how we know that one is an array or not? So we can have the bracket before the array, or you can put the you can write down the bracket after the age. So we declare to a proper data type. For this case, we declare to int age. So means that integer number will be the value for this array. The second one is we declare as a array name is marks, and it's declared to a double floating point as is in data type. So means the second one is double, and we have the bracket and we have marks as is name for this array. Okay, two different arrays. One we declare as an integer and one array we declare as a marks as a double. Okay, so how we create the arrays? Okay, arrays. So we start with int bracket ageh semicolon, or the second one for the double we have the bracket marks and semicolon. Okay, so we already declare age as a array. What are the value for the array? So we can equal to the, how to create array, we equal to new int, means the following, this array consists of how many values? So mean this arrays consist of 5 values. So int bracket age we already declare as array, and we want to use the array. So age equal to new int 5. The second array marks we already declare as a double. So when we refer marks, what is the marks? Is not a normal variable. Marks is refer as a double array. So means that this one is a array. The following all the value inside the marks will be array also. So for the new values we use double, same, because already we declare as a double. And how many variables, how many values inside this array will be 7. So this is the first type how we declare an array. So how we create an array. So to declare and create arrays, there are two types, two ways we can use. The first way, we create and we declare and we create the arrays in two lines. Okay, just now we already mentioned about that. int bracket age. So the second line will be age equal to new int, or we can create in a single line int bracket age equal new int 5. Same also goes for double. Double bracket marks equals to new double 7, or we can create in a single line double bracket marks equal new double 7. So there are two types or two ways to create and declare arrays. First one is we declare as in two lines. The second one we declare as in one line. Initialization of arrays. After an array is declared, its element must be initialized. Otherwise, they will contain value 0. Means that when you declare double bracket marks, you must insert value to the array. So we have the array with the value. So how many value in this array? So there are 97.5 as the first value, 41.8 as the second value, 36.5 as the third value, 100 as a fourth value, 75.3 as a fifth value, and the last one will be 57.8. All values are separated by comma and start with left braces and end with right braces and semicolon. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arrays, 6 values in this array. The length of this array would be 6. Okay, because we have 6 different values, but the index number will be until 5, 0 until 5, because the first house or first index will be I equal to 0, means that first index will be 0. Okay, 97.5 will be stored at first index is the 0, and 57.8 will be stored at the last index will be index 6, but the total value for this and total length for this array would be 7. Okay, total value or total length for the array will be 7. Access the elements of an array. You access an array element by referring to the index number. This statement accesses the value of the first element in the car. For example, cars, we declare to the proper data type is strings. So what is the car name? First one, Volvo. Why we must have a double quote? Because this one is a string, so we must put double quote. For first one, Volvo, semicolon, comma. The second one, BMW, comma. Third one, Ford, comma. And last one, Mazda. So there are 4 value in this array. So we want to print the value from this array. So we write down system.out.println line, and we have cars, we have the bracket, and we close the bracket with semicolon. So what we must write down inside the bracket is the index number of the value. So we want the Volvo to come out as a output, as a print output. So we will declare the cars as index 0. So the Volvo will come out as a output. If you want the Mazda to come out as output, we will write down cars 3. So we can write down cars 3. Okay. Change an array's element. To change the value of a specific element refers to the index number. So we already have the Volvo as the first index 0, but you want to change to OPE 1, for example, we want to change the value. So if you want to change the value, you can. So we write back the arrays, string bracket cars, Volvo, BMW, Ford, Mazda. But I don't want the Volvo as my first output of index 0. So I change in cars 0 bracket 0 and OPS my new value. So means that when after that you print the cars 0, you won't get Volvo, but you will get OPE as a output. So you can change. This one is not a finalized. It's not like a constant final constant variables. This one is a you can change, even though you already declare as a above as a Volvo as a first index 0, but you still can change afterward. Okay, for this case, to find how many length an array has, use the length property. So you want to know how many length of this array. Cars, how many values inside the car? When you calculate, you know already 1, 2, 3, 4. But you want to get the output. So you want to get the output, you write down system.out.println cars.length you will get the straight away you will get the output as 4. So they will count cars. Okay, I go for the cars array. Dot length means I will calculate how many size of this array. So 1 2 3 4. So the length of this array will be 4. Loop through an array. You can loop through the array elements with the for loop and use the length property to specify how many times the loop should run. For the following example outputs all the elements in the cars array. For example, string bracket cars Volvo, BMW, Ford, Mazda. For we use the for control structure. Okay, easy to write down. So we write out int integer I equals to 0, means that my index start with 0. Volvo until I less than cars.length, until is less than 4, because there are 4 value inside the array I plus plus. So each time I enter the control structure or my loop, the increment will be happen. The first one, when I enter the loop, system.out.println cars I means 0, the first output will be Volvo. Then second time I enter the loop for, and I'll get BMW, and third one I'll get Ford, and the fourth one I'll get Mazda, and the last I cannot enter again because the cars.length is equal to 4. When the I become 4 less than 4, it will terminate from the loop. So final output will get Volvo at the first line, the second line will be BMW, and the third line will be Ford, and the fourth line will be Mazda. Accessing elements in an array. int age. Okay, there are 4 values in this array. The length of array is 4. Index 0 will be 7, index 1 will be 21, index 2 will be 5, and index 3 will be 9. So int counter equal to 0. So while counter less than age.length, while counter is less than 4, if you want to write down straight away, write down 4 also can, but if you want to write down age.length also can, either one can use. System.out.println age counter. Okay, you will get the counter. Each time you enter, the counter will be increased. The counter will be increased. Okay, so age, first one is I equal to 0, second one age will be 1, third one is 2, the fourth one is age 3. So age 0, the first time you enter the counter, age 0 means you will find the first value 0 is 7. Okay, age 0 is 7, age 1 is 21, age 2 is 5, age 3 is 9. Okay, displaying elements in array. Okay, my class is print array, class name public static void main string bracket args arguments, and my array name is arr. I declare to int integer. So there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 values in my array. Okay, semicolon, and for first int I0 is less than my array name dot length, so 7, or you can write down straight away 7, or you want to write down arr, the array name dot length I plus plus. So then inside the loop, system dot out print arr I means that first time I enter the array I0, so I will refer back again above to find out I equals to 0. Second one I refer back again, so you again and you will print everything until 7. Okay, now we move on to next, entering data into arrays. Okay, before this we already learned about user didn't enter any value for the array, so already declared this array arr already has 7 value inside that. But for example, you don't want the value before the user enter the value, means that you want the user enter the value. Okay, if user enter the value, we want the user to insert the value, okay, as a double. For this case, okay, we check back this case, we declare first double array marks equal to new double 6. So this one is 2-line declaration. Okay, the length of this array is 6, so means that you have 6 value in this array. For I equal to 0, I less than marks dot length, or I less than 6, I plus plus, marks I then equal to sc dot next double. For example, sc dot next double means that, so first one I will enter the mark. So already when I enter, for example, first one I enter 46.5, the 46.5 will declare in a first index, index 0, mark 0 will be 46.5. The second one I enter 100, for example I enter 100, I equal to 1 will be 100. For example, 100 will be stored in the second house, second index. Means that until 5, I equal to 5, I will enter the number. I equal to 6, I cannot enter anymore, because the length size of the array is only 6, 0 until 5. Each number or each value that I enter will store in the appropriate index number of the array. Okay, I think that's all for this subtopic. This is one last example for the first part of array. So you can go through first this example, so you can compile in a solo learn or BlueJ to find out the proper output. So we will meet at the part 2 of array. So that's all for today. So have a nice day. May God bless you all.